Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth episode of the Show LA, the hottest high school football show on the West Coast. My co-host today, to my left to your right, Miss Jacob Noel.
What's up?
And to my right and your left, Miss Sab Palacio.
Hello.
We got a great show for you guys this week. Some awesome guests. John Brown from Kane Protein is on. We got Darick Holmes from the Pro Way, sharing some hard hits. So we're going to be talking about the new bill, the likeness bill, SB 206. We're going to be talking about Darick Holmes and Pro Way. And also, we've got Phillips on the show, Ohio State DB commit lockdown corner. He joins us today, one of our CLA Defensive Player of the Year nominees. But check it out, the Show LA coming to you straight out of Los Angeles. All right, we have some amazing highlights this week. We were all over Southern California this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Thursday, J. Sarah Servite, Corona Del Mar against Fountain Valley. Friday, our game of the week was Centennial Norco. I personally was at Notre Dame Loyola with Jacob, and then Danny was out at Alemany Chaminade for an overtime thriller, and then we had our fan vote game.
Our fan voted game was Kaiser versus Summit, and it was an amazing game, so we're going to go check some highlights out from all of these games.
Now, the guy who impressed me the most from this Kaiser Summit game, number 5, Travion Tribble.
Wow. Great throw.
This guy was really dropping dimes all game, and then, this throw right here, he just puts it in the window, and...
Wow. That arm.
The guy's got an arm.
He really does.
What's your favorite position in football?
Well, my little brother's a quarterback, so I'm always interested in how the quarterback is going to do. It's interesting to see them grow as a player throughout the season.
For sure. This guy's growing before our eyes because I had truthfully never heard about him until this game, but watch this, Jake. Explain what happens here.
Here we see him running all over the place. Drops at number 6. Beautiful run. Take it to the crib, as AP says.
Hey, to the crib. That's where you gotta live, man. Some more great games too. Let's see, Centennial versus Norco highlights, and up for our showstopper of the year.
Nick Floyd, right? And look at him. He just runs this ball all the way. Oh my gosh. He's so strong, and look at this is for his first touchdown of the game, correct?
And another multi-touchdown game for him.
Yeah.
And then Shane Illingworth, he had a tough game. He was on the turf a lot. Got sacked plenty of times, but the Oklahoma State commit had a nice dime here, so you got to give Shane Illingworth his prop. All right, now one of the best games of the week, and actually one of the best games of the year so far, was Alemany versus Chaminade. Overtime thriller, but let's get to the highlights, man. This Miller Moss, is he Patrick Mahomes here? Because it looks like he no-looks this pass for a diving catch.
Wow, awesome catch.
Sab, you had a chance to see Alemany this year.
I did. I watched them a few weeks ago when they played Bishop Amat. It was a tough loss for them, but it was really nice to see them really pull one through at this game.
And DJ Justice right here. This kid's got no offers. The son of former Atlanta Braves baseball player David Justice makes a dope touchdown catch right here. And then, Jacob, what do you think of this kid, Ian Duarte, man, this freshman?
Duarte, he is absolutely amazing. He had an 80-yard touchdown and a 99-yard touchdown with 3 catches for 200 yards. Absolutely impressive. He's also a baseball player, so he has a bright future ahead of him.
Underclassman Kevin Green for Alemany had another great game. He's the team's leading receiver, scored a touchdown here to actually force the 2-point conversion that he ended up running in to tie the game. So not only did he score the touchdown, 2-point conversion to tie it, and then Miller Moss right here hits him in the end zone. This is the scramble drill. So okay, let me explain it to you. So the quarterback runs around, he's scrambling. The receiver's job is to just keep running and find a way to get open.
Yeah.
It's pretty much impossible for a DB to cover a wide receiver for 5 or 6 seconds. So the quarterback gets to scrambling. Kevin Green moved around and
found an open window.
That's it. Game-winning touchdown catch. And then right here, Alemany makes the stop on Chaminade's last possession, and they go crazy. What would you do if you won a game like this at the very end and you got all your pads on? What's your next move?
Oh, I would be doing a victory cheer all day, all day.
If you are scheduling a league or a tournament, make sure to download the Zort Sports app. It is completely free and available for Android and Apple.
Follow Zort Sports on Twitter and Instagram at Zorts_sports.
All right, we're back. Hard hits, and we've got the OG, man. To my right, to your left, this is Mr. John St. Brown. John, you're a former Mr. Universe, man, and And I'll tell you what, he still got it because he put me through a workout, and I was sore for about a week and a half. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. This dude has 3 of the baddest sons in football, 2 in the Pac-12, 1 in the league. John Brown, introduce yourself.
Hey, John Brown. I'm the father of Equanimous, Osiris, and Amon-Ra. I was back in the day a professional bodybuilder. I won the Mr. Universe twice and the Mr. World 3 times. So I competed all over the world.
Now you attack life the same way that you attack the weights, that you do everything with purpose, man. Who instilled that in you?
That's a great question. When I look back and I reflect, I think it was just something that was from God, because it was just in me. Ever since I can remember waking up, I was that type of guy, wanted to dominate everything that I did.
Now this is Hard Hits, man, so we're gonna talk about parents being hard on their kids. Were you hard on your kids coming up?
That's interesting.
And I don't mean hard in a bad way.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it depends on your perspective. Because salt looks like sugar until you taste it. So some people look at me and go, I disagree with those methods, which is okay with me. And so I don't think I was hard, but not that hard, to be honest with you. For an example, the rules in my house were simple. I had 2 hats, coach and dad. And I tried to explain to my sons when I had the coach hat on, when I had the dad hat. When I had the dad hat, they can throw water balloons at me, they can do whatever they want, we have fun. Coach hat, it's serious. So I only wore the coach hat maybe throughout a day, maybe an hour a day, no more. And after that, it was all fun, love, but education. In my house, if you brought home an A, don't show me an A. I don't want to see an A. And I always told my kids since they were 5 years old, any fool can make an A. Show me A+. If it's not A+, don't show it to me. So they grew up thinking like that. Now some people will see that and hear that and go, man, you're pretty hard on your kids, but it was fun, and they didn't know any better. So they believed that that's a reality. And because of that, they became scholar students.
Now your sons, obviously, man, they have a lot of respect for you up till this day. You know what I mean? What are some of those things that you're proud of, man, in terms of respect that you've instilled in your sons? Like, for example, Equanimous is an NFL player, right? But in what ways does he still respect you and not, you know what I mean? What I'm sure he doesn't Hollywood you, man, because you raised him right.
Yeah, so I mean, for an example, he's playing in the NFL with the Green Bay Packers right now. Now, when he comes home on their break after the season, sometimes him and some of the players will rent a house, a beach house, and stay there for a couple of weeks. But in general, he stays at my house. He wants to stay at my house. He has the money to do what he wants, but he wants to stay with me. That shows love to me. When you did something right, when your kid has an opportunity to go and stay where he wants, but he wants to stay with you, you did something right. So I think little things like that shows me, that we did it the right way. He was at Notre Dame, and there was some guys.
I wore this for you today, man, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Show some love, man.
He was at Notre Dame, and I got a call that there were some kids who got in trouble. And a reporter called me and said, do you know if Equanimous was involved? I go, I don't know. So I called Equanimous, and that joker didn't answer his phone as like all kids, even though I'm paying the damn bill. He's in the NFL, I'm still paying his bill.
Man, I play my younger brother's cell phone bill still.
Oh, is that right? Okay, good, because misery loves company. I'm glad you told me that. But make a long story short, he wasn't involved in it. And there was a kid that was involved who was kind of the ringleader. He was from Southern California. Same situation as my son, black father, white mother. And I asked my son, I go, let me ask you a question, Equanimous. Why was it that you never developed a relationship with this guy? Because he's from California, he's right up the street from you. You have a lot of similarities. He said, because when I first met the kid, he was smoking weed. And when I saw that, I stayed away from him. I said, you know what? I did something right. Because those guys, 5 guys in the car, and that guy had a gun. And there was a gun charge related to that stop. So I did something right.
Man, you definitely did, man. This is Hard Hits, man. And sometimes a lot of parents might look at families and say, oh, that dad or that mom, they're pushing their kid, too hard. But, there's a way to push your kids in a hard way, but be effective, man, and raise them right. And John Brown has done that, man. His kids, by the way, they speak three languages.
Three languages: German, French, and English.
And so, you know, when you're raising kids who are at Stanford, Notre Dame, USC, man, and they're doing their thing, man, you've done a great job.
One more thing in terms of raising kids, and because I get that question a lot. Wherever I go, coaches all the time want to know, you know, is it bad to make your kids play sports? I don't think it's bad. You know, we all make our kids go to school. And if we gave our kids choices, they would never go to school. But we all say, no, you have to go to school, so we all agree that's okay. So what's wrong with making them do sports?
Right.
Up until a certain point in their lives. Sports is good for them. And if I had a daughter, which I wish I had, but I don't, but a couple of things she would not do. She would not do, no offense, but we ain't doing volleyball, we ain't doing softball, we ain't doing none of those sports that don't make no money. Because what if your daughter becomes a world champion? What if that happens? And I tell you something else. I believe that most athletes are trained. So if she becomes a world champion, make sure she get paid. Don't do some stupid sport where you're gonna get out there and just.
All right, so now, okay, hard hits. So let's talk about that. California just passed a law, SB 206. I read the whole thing word for word. Some people are arguing that it's not gonna help female athletes. I think the opposite. You know, I think female athletes, in my opinion, have more followers on social media than the male athletes, so in turn, they can monetize their platforms better. And we'll have two actually females who are influencers on the show today. We have Jaka and Savannah, who have huge followings, and they'll talk about how they've monetized their channel, because female college athletes, soon with, you know, SB 206 passing, you'll be able to do the same thing. But that being said, your sons are out there. Amon-Ra, one of the most heralded, you know, high school wide receivers to come out in a while. Equinemius was big time then. The social media wasn't as big when Equinemius was coming up, you know what I mean? So a lot of those guys didn't get as much hype as they do today, but Osiris, you know, he balled out. How would you have set your kids up for this bill if all of them could have, you know, gone into college, being able to make money off their likeness?
First, let me say this. I don't know much about the bill. I think it's something to do, you can sell your likeness.
So what you can do is this. Your college athletes will be allowed to hire agents and hire lawyers to represent them to make money off of their likeness.
Okay, so if that was me, I like it, and because the NCAA, you know, they're stealing all the money. Let's be real. You mentioned female athletes. I think female athletes have a chance to make a lot of money, maybe more than the guys, to be honest with you, if they market themselves correctly. I would have had my sons do the same thing they're doing now. Would I've hired an attorney, maybe, to look over the legalese and stuff like that, but I would have hired someone like yourself to run their Instagram and just look at what's out there in terms of t-shirts, posters. What are the limitations on that law? Can we sell, what type of paraphernalia can we sell? What can't we sell? But
I believe it says you can, as long as, so for example, USC has a Nike contract.
Okay.
Well, if the rule passed, Amon-Ra couldn't be in a USC game wearing Adidas because it goes against the team's contract. But in the off season, he could go on his social media and do an Adidas ad, even though he plays for a Nike school. Right? So it's just contractually, whatever happens can't violate current.
Okay, well, most definitely we would try to take advantage of that law. I can tell you that right now. But you know, you got to be careful with this, because don't do too much, because you can never ever outplay the hype. There's a lot of players in the NFL right now who's getting a lot of hype, and their game ain't as good as that hype. It's not to say they're not good players, but you can never ever outdo the hype.
So do you think that this law is going to create these kind of like hype fiends amongst the
hype fiends already there? It's going to increase it. It's going to magnify it. No question about that. But somehow it will work itself out. You know what I mean? Things will level off. In the beginning, it's like the Wild Wild West. Everybody's going to be going crazy.
Now, okay, for example, what would you do then if you came home and your son said, hey, I got a DM from this company, and this company, right? Now suddenly your son is being contacted by these companies the companies are already giving the kids a bunch of free stuff, right? Well, when they're able to legally promote them, what do you think that world will be like?
If it's me, I'm gonna sit down with that particular company and talk it over. And if there's something that makes sense, I'll make a deal for my kids. But as a father, I would make sure, see, here's where it gets a little slippery. I would make sure that my kids understand, son, this is not the finish line. Because when I went to the opening in Oregon, they had the cameras, the lights, it looks like the finish line. It really does. But that ain't the truth. That is not the finish line. So you need a parent to sign a contract for their kids and get all that hype, but sometimes it makes a kid not work as hard. You gotta be careful right there. Right there is where you gotta have your mindset gotta be as such. Son, this is not the finish line. This is the beginning. Don't get confused about all this money and all this hype because it can mess you up. I'm glad I came from bodybuilding. See, bodybuilding is a good sport for everything because it's the foundation of all sports. I know how to work out properly, and guess what? I won the Mr. Universe, and here's the weird thing. I'm training my ass off to win. As soon as I win, I get a call from my dude from France. He goes, John, how are you? I said, good. You competing next year to defend your title? I go, yeah. You better be better than ever because everybody hates you. I go, what? Why they hate me? Because you won. I go, oh shit. See, I thought when I won, I thought this is the finish line, I did it. No, it ain't the finish line. It's even worse, it's even harder. So you don't know that unless you're in a sport like I was in an individual sport. So I had to train even harder to win the next year because they all in the garage throwing darts at my poster. Get him. Yeah, John Brown ain't shit. You got to get him. Let's get his ass. And so in football, it's the same thing. Be real careful. But I tell my sons this, if you're not a father who's been in an individual sports, it's difficult to understand what I'm saying. You understand? Individual sports make you champion, because as far as I'm concerned, fuck this. There's two places in life, first and fucking last. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Now you get me fired the fuck up around here, because I'm tired of these people who come in fourth place their whole lives. Listen to me.
Participation.
Fourth place their whole lives. Then they come in second place or third place, they happy. I ain't gonna name no names. There's certain schools who are like that. I'm like, what is that? You gotta win it all or nothing.
Man, you have to be competitive in everything.
Come on, dog. We're going to what they say, we're going to what's the bowl? A bowl game. What a bowl game? That's stupid.
It's not a championship.
I won the Mr. Universe, the guy coming second is a loser. He's the first loser. So I teach my sons that. You gotta be like that. You can't be stupid in life. What is this stuff?
You got one chance, you guys. There's no do-overs, man. We like John Brown because he keeps it real. There's no sugarcoating it. Man, this guy is the man. Tell me real quick about Kane Protein, man. What is this? Let
me tell you something, man.
Tell them about it.
I developed this for my boys when they were 5, 6, and 7 years old. Why? Because I went to school and I saw the little lunches they were getting. I thought, what is this? This is not good. We can't win no world championship eating this stuff. So I said, look, first thing I'm doing, I'm gonna make your lunch. I'm gonna make your food. Second thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna call my friends. Hey, we need to create a product for my sons so they can be stronger and faster than their counterparts. Guess what? I did this and I never sold it. All those years I kept it in my house just for my sons, right? Now they're out of high school. I said, you know what, I'm gonna start selling it. My amon-ra didn't want me to sell it. Don't sell it, Papa. Don't sell it to those people. I said, why? He said, because you're gonna make them as good as us. Don't do it, just keep it a secret. But no, let me tell you something. If you have a child out there, he's a little small, a little scrawny, a little thin, he needs to have protein. If he's 8 years old, listen to me. He needs more protein than I do because he's growing. Don't be stupid in life. You gotta get good protein. Not all protein is equal. I can't tell you everything that's in here because it's one of my secrets, but I guarantee you, not all proteins are equal. You can take mine for 2 months, write it down, your results, stop, take another one for 2 months, you'll see what really happens. That's the real deal.
Hey, this is John Brown, man. Kane Protein.
John Brown, ask me again, I'll knock you down.
Protein.
Yeah.
KaneProtein.com, man. This is the OG.
Y'all got me fired up around here talking about this stuff, man. Y'all keep me excited, shit, because this is real to me, you know?
All right, I got my man here. You know, I call you D Holmes, but you know everyone knows you as Darick Holmes Sr. You're repping the pro way today. You got a couple of sons that you put through, man. Darick Jr., Darnay. We enjoyed watching them, man. But you're the foundation. Talk about your playing career, man, and as a Pasadena legend, you know, what you remember back in the day coming up.
I mean, coming up, being from Pasadena, playing in Pasadena, we had a lot of great athletes come out of there. Of course, the top number one that I don't know him personally, but Jackie Robinson is from Pasadena. We had a lot of great athletes come out of Pasadena. I just happened to be one that came out of there in the early 80s that did my thing.
So you were one of the guys who I probably had your trading cards back in the day, man, because I was collecting them all. But you played for the Bills via Portland State. What was your journey like to get to Portland State? Because you had some trials and tribulations coming up, man, that made you the man you are today. And just talk about, you know, how your journey was leaving high school, getting to Portland State, getting to the league.
Okay. While I was in high school, as a freshman in high school, I was a knucklehead. So I had a pocket full of money. I was a little hustler. My whole 10th grade year, I was in jail. So once I got out of camp, my junior year, I was already behind in high school, so I had to take a lot of courses to catch up just to graduate. Being the case that I had to go to junior college out of high school, I was one of the top athletes in the country at John Muir High School. Me and Curtis Conway was dual threat quarterbacks back in the day. So me and Curtis Conway, I think Ronnie Riddell was a pocket passer, but coming out of high school that year, me and Curtis Conway was the top dual threat quarterbacks, and I had some of the top colleges wanted to get me, but they were just practicing, trying to recruit me because I had no grades due to the fact that at my 9th and 10th grade year, I didn't take care of business.
Now, you had a support system because nobody picks themselves up off the canvas by themselves usually. You know, so who were those people that were in your corner, man? Because you had some people rooting for you.
Yes, sir. I had, my parents was in my corner, but I had a lot of coaches that growing up that took care of me. Mr. Stewart, I had Mr. Harrison. My coaches at John Muir, they pushed me real hard. Like I said, I was just happy to graduate coming out of high school, so I had to go to junior college. I went to Mount Sac Junior College, and I went to, my mother passed away. After my mother passed away, I used that as another excuse to go back and hustle again. So that set me back some more time, and I ended up going to Pasadena City College. Out of Pasadena City College, I ended up going to Portland State. But prior to going to Pasadena City College, I was hustling, like I said, and I had some money stolen. And I was, at the time, my girl at the time was pregnant with my daughter, Darick. So that kind of pushed me to go back, like, no, I'm through with this. I don't know who stole my money. I'm ready to do something to anybody, like his family, wherever. So I just happened, and God blessed me, and went to New Portland State, Division II school at the time. And I was rated in the top 10 running backs coming up. But again, my background hurt me going into the league. So I had to check a background. I'm ready to go first 2 rounds. I get drafted in the 7th round due to the fact what I did as a youth.
Now, as a youth, you know, and you're making those decisions, right? You're taking penitentiary chances, as they say, right? Were you making a lot of money? Was the money that you made even worth it?
To me, I mean, as a youngster, it was. I mean, having $20,000, $30,000 in the 9th, 10th grade, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Even out of what's the name, I might have made going $100 million deals, you know what I'm saying, from what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? So it was worth it to me. I thought it was, you know what I'm saying, but it really isn't, you know what I'm saying, when it boils down to it, because we could stay focused in school, you know what I'm saying, and grind, and you'll come out a better man. Now, in the LA area, man, we're in a big metropolitan area, and unfortunately, you know, people get caught up in things, but just recently there's been some guys in the news. For example, you know, we had the tight end from St. Bonaventure who went to SC, you know, Bryce, he got in trouble. You know, we had Jalen Hall recently at Hawkins, who was at SC and bounced around, and he got into some trouble. If you could look those guys right in the eye, you know, what would you say to them? I would tell them, like, stick to the script. Like, you guys have another chance. Like I said, I didn't end up going pro till I think I was 23 years old. So you guys are young. You still have time. Go back to school. Listen to your support system. They helped you get there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we just go away from the people who was there from the jump, and that kind of messes you up. So
you're saying basically don't do what you've been doing, you know, change it up?
You got to switch up. It's too many other ways to get to the top, you know what I'm saying? I mean, doing it the right way, I always tell kids, if you're not doing the godly way, why do it? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if it's not right, why do it?
Now, this is hard hits, so, you know, I'm hitting hard right now.
Yeah, hard.
What's it like being locked up, man? Even when you get your freedom taken away, explain that to everybody.
I mean, it's something that you don't want to be involved with. You got to tell you when to go use the bathroom, when to take a shower, when you go outside and exercise. I was like I said, I'm mad that it happened to me, but I'm glad it happened to me when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? But it still didn't take away from after I was in the NFL where I went back to what I used to do, and I went back to hustling when I was in the NFL. This is hard hits, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I was shot 7 times about 11 years ago, 12 years ago, and I just started the Pro Way program. So I know what the reason why I'm here is because the Pro Way, to help bless kids, to help kids not make decisions like I made.
Now, what's that like? You got shot, man. 50 Cent raps about it. These rappers want to rap about it, man. But what, you got shot. What was that like? What was going through your mind, And I'm sure sports was the last thing.
Yeah. I was just praying that, so like I said, I don't care if I was able to walk. I didn't care anything. If I was able to talk, I was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord blessed me to be able to walk around and be able to do everything normally. I just know for a fact that I'm here today because of what I do with the youth and how I can help these kids today get to where they need to get to without going through what I went through.
Man, you're a testament, man, to a lot of people, and we definitely appreciate you and your sons, and now you got some grandbabies,
yes,
right? So
yes.
Beautiful family. The Lord has blessed you, man, because you're out here taking care of our youth, and we appreciate you from the show LA. But we just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story. This is Hard Hits. This is D Holmes from the Pro Way, man. We got some guys from the squad in the building today. So we're going to get positive a little bit later, man. But sometimes you got to get a dose of that real. This is the show LA. Darick Holmes from Pro Way, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys.
Here we are with one of our Defensive Player of the Year nominees for the 2019 CLA Awards, Clark Phillips of La Habra. Man, nice to have you out here, Clark. They call you Superman. Tell us a little bit why, man, because you do your thing on the field or what?
Thanks for having me. And Superman comes from, the guy that does super things. For me on the football field, I think I make spectacular plays. I'm a dog, like the kids were saying. And then, I dominate people. I dominate receivers in particular, and I've given up zero catches in man coverage this year.
We've seen you a lot. Didn't get to see too much of you last year during the season, but caught up with you on the circuit, caught up with you at the opening finals in Dallas.
Yeah.
And, man, you were an island in Dallas, man. So that's the best players in the country.
Yeah.
And they weren't really throwing your way is what I noticed.
Yeah.
Did anybody else notice that?
Oh, I definitely did. I was begging for the ball. Every best quarterback that was out there supposedly had the best receivers too, and I like to call myself the best DB. So every opportunity I got, I was talking my stuff, and I was letting the guys know that they weren't open, and the receivers thought differently, but yet they still didn't catch the ball. So with that being said,
you had some great pass breakups in that. A couple of those plays, I was actually filming and came right at me, and you play the ball well, man. But not only that, you have great feet. It seems like whenever a wide receiver comes off the line, no matter what his release is, with your footwork, man, you're able to shadow him. Where does that come from?
Aaron Grimes, I trained with him. That's the DB coach that was in here earlier. He kind of gives me a lot of those tips and things that they are doing at the next level to allow me to be able to shadow guys with my footwork and allow me to use the different variations of techniques throughout every rep and be able to mix it up to where guys can't really catch on to my techniques.
You went out, was that last year, to the primetime camp, Deion Sanders camp, and MVP?
Yeah, MVP.
So, man, he's the GOAT.
Deion Sanders.
What did Deion tell you?
He told me, young buck, you need to, just stay at it. He said, stay humble, keep God first, and you're going to go. And we know what you going to go means coming from Deion. And so I took that to heart. And so every now and then I'll drop him a message on Twitter and let him know how my season is going and everything. I know he's busy coaching and stuff, so he don't have that much time, but it's always good. I kind of reflect and look back at that camp and realize that I did ball out, and it's crazy. It's nothing like being labeled the best by the best, Deion Sanders.
Now, you're interesting, man, because you have that humble confidence. And as a player, I played and I was a receiver, right? So we would have been going head up.
Oh, yeah.
And that humble confidence, man, it frustrates people, right?
Yeah.
So you're a DB that can smile and still be humble. Do you get in receivers' heads, man? Because you're kind of getting in my head right now. We ain't even playing, man.
Definitely. I enjoy it. And much as I love the game, I hate receivers. So I try to make it to where the receivers, even if they do catch a ball, I try to make receivers feel bad about any play that they make. So a receiver might catch the ball on me, and I'm gonna make them feel bad about it, and make them, I'm gonna tell them, why didn't you make that a touchdown? Why didn't you make that this? You're not as good as you think you are if the quarterback's not looking your way. And so I try to, with a little bit of talking and a little bit of actions, try to put 2 and 2 together to make the receivers day bad.
Now, Ohio State came calling, you committed. What was it about Ohio State? Why not one of the local schools? And then really quick, man, and I'm going to throw a little hard hit in here.
Yeah.
Why not SC or UCLA?
Oh, yeah, good question. So Ohio State, we all know the legacy, the DB legacy. I think that program, it really speaks for themselves. Going there, I think, is probably the best opportunity for me to go to the next level and be dominant at the next level. With a coach like Coach Halfley, all of those guys, it's probably about 20 DBs in that DB room that I can name that are all dogs and are gonna get me better every single day. And why not UCLA? Why not SC? Right now, I don't think I was looking for a program like that. In the beginning, I loved UCLA because my mother went there. She graduated from there, UCLA alum, But SC, I don't think that that's a program too many DBs want to be at as of right now. Not right now. Not a DB like myself, at least.
How do you think that they do? Sorry to cut you off, but how do you think that SC and UCLA have been doing in terms of recruiting players from their own backyard? Because it seems like there's been an exodus, man. Everybody is leaving the state. Why is that?
I think it has something to do with, there's different. UCLA and USC have both had different coaches and, a couple of different coaches in years prior, and they're kind of, I feel like, recycling coaches. So I feel like DBs and different players don't want to go to a program that, as of right now, that doesn't seem stable. And I think that can change, of course. And with a program like SC and UCLA, there's so many guys that are ballers in Southern California and over here. So I think they definitely have an opportunity at any moment to pick that up and change that.
Now, have you ever sat there and thought in your head, man, and I know you're comfortable, so I'm not trying to cause any controversy, but have you ever sat there and thought in your head, if it was 2023 right now, would I stay in California and play my college football?
Ooh, and then, man, I'm thinking about 2023. I think that's when the new law comes out where players can make a little bit of money off of their likeness. I think, definitely. That was a conversation I had with my parents. Like, man, what if I could, buy you guys that house before I make it pros? All of that stuff. No, that's definitely a conversation internally and with the family. But I think I'm solid where I am. But SC and UCLA, they got to get it going fast for these future recruits.
Now, you see everybody out here, and we like to say that the top recruits, the players, you guys know the other players better than all of us do. You know what I mean? Especially a player your caliber. Who are some of the local guys that SC and UCLA needs to hurry up and jump on?
Let me think. Right now, I'd be crazy if I didn't say Bryce Phillips, the other lockdown on the other side of me. But other than him, in terms of receivers and other guys that aren't committed in terms of 2020, I can think of John Humphreys is already committed, but he's going to Stanford. But he was a guy I think that they should have hopped on. All the guys I'm thinking of, they're already committed. Josh Jackson is going to SC. That's a no-brainer. In terms of DBs, there's a lot of unknown guys out there.
Maybe some guys from Pro Way that don't have any offers yet that need to get up there?
Definitely. There's a kid that I know, Zachary Spears. There's a kid that I know, Sierra Wright.
He's at Loyola, Zachary. I actually saw him Friday night.
Nah, those boys are ballers. Them dudes are, great DBs, and then they're playmakers. I think that they both play on both sides of the ball. Sierra's a speedster. So I think SC and UCLA better hop on fast before those guys make a decision out of state, kind of like I did.
Now, really quick, man, how much are you looking forward to going into Michigan and playing at the Big House?
Oh, that's a rivalry game. That's a game that I think anybody that's going to Ohio State is looking forward to. I look forward to dominating them boys at Michigan. The team up north. We can't even say that name.
Hey, man, Clark Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
Lockdown corner, man. You're probably going to catch this guy on NFL Network one day, man, sitting behind the camera.
Appreciate that.
But a lot of charisma, man. Big old muscle on the field, man. You see this dude with his shirt off, and I don't know if he has an ounce of fat on, but he's gonna do well at Ohio State, man. We wish you the best of luck, and good luck too with our Player of the Year.
I appreciate
awards,
it,
man.
I hope I get that. Yeah. I'll be pumped. Thanks for having me again.
Keep balling.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate
thanks.
You.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so we're back, and we've got some special guests in the studio today.
To my right, to your left, we have Savannah Palacio.
Hello.
And then to my left and your right, we have Jacob Noel.
What's up?
Two awesome girls, but they are also Instagram and social media influencers. So why are they on the show today, you guess, besides the fact that, I mean, it's obvious, right? But no, I'm just kidding. You know what? They're on the show here to explain to the future college athletes and high school athletes how to monetize their platforms. So you've monetized your platform, Jacob, obviously,
Yes.
and you've been doing it for a long time.
Yes.
At what age did you start realizing that social media is something you can make money off of?
Well, I've been in the industry since I was about 4 years old, and my mom and I created my Instagram when I was 13, and she started to run that along as myself, and brands started reaching out to me immediately, and I just started to work with them, but we weren't just gonna let them use my face for free, so obviously we had to start monetizing stuff and use that platform in a positive way as well, so that more brands will keep starting to work with you.
Now, how does that work in terms of, you know, being a teenager and starting to make money? Do you sign contracts? Does your mom, you know, did you guys have legal representation? Because with the new bill that passes, student athletes will be able to obtain agents and legal representation. How did that come into play with you?
Well, obviously I am still a minor, and college athletes are obviously over 18, so it should be way easier than it is for how it is for me, obviously. So they shouldn't have any problems with that since they are legal, and I am illegal, so I still have to have my mom within all of this kind of stuff.
Now, Savannah, explain in what ways that you can envision a college athlete making money off of their likeness with the new rule.
Oh my gosh, there are so many cool and easy ways, ideas at least that I have for college athletes. I almost wish I was a college athlete just so I could market my brand. With college athletes, you know, their schools are making so much money off of all these players, and now that these players are given the opportunity to make themselves money, I mean, they can go outside of whatever contracts they have with their team and sign with food deals or other like sports deals like with Nike or Adidas and stuff. So there's just so many things they could do. Also, they could do what influencers already do and just work with brands that they
What are 3 things that you do right now where you could say, oh, college athlete could do this?
Definitely food deals. I feel like the first idea that pops into my head at least is those food companies that bring healthy food to your door. That can be something so easy. I mean, college athletes, they're busy studying, they're busy playing sports. They don't have time or money to make their own healthy meals. So that's one idea that I have for them. Maybe just going outside of their contracts that they have with their schools. And let's say if your school is signed with Nike and you have to represent Nike during your games, maybe in your off time or your off season, you can sign a deal with Adidas or Puma or any of those other brands. So
now, what kind of advantage do, you know, college student athletes have over, you know, a regular person? You're a regular person. You're an influencer, right?
Yeah,
you're not
super
an athlete,
normal,
right? You're not.
Yes.
But what kind of advantages would they have to even potentially, you know, get bigger than you?
Right. I mean, they have already they have a platform, and people are already looking at them during this season. So they have a leg up on someone like me who, you know, is just a regular person and just kind of had an organic following from the beginning. So they're just super marketable. They just need to remember to stick to their student athlete persona, you know, to not pretend to be someone that they aren't, and to really stay true to their brand. Because in the future, if and when they do get picked up by a pro team, they're gonna want someone who is marketable and someone who's true to themselves.
For sure. Now, Jacob, on your end, how, like, to touch on what Savannah said, how important is it to stay natural and to be yourself when you're trying to grow your brand?
Oh my gosh, so important. Like, as I've said plenty of times, and what I've been taught is that you need to stay close to your roots. It will keep you humble, and you don't want to tread too far off of your track, and you want to stay close to your roots, and which is how you're going to evolve and how you're going to be successful, because nobody wants somebody that is acting to be someone they're not.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of influencer marketing, what are some of the trials and tribulations you had? Like, what are some of the horror stories? Like, what's a potential horror story that a kid could face if he's doing?
Oh, I am.
Scam.
Yes.
Savannah has gotten hacked on Instagram.
I got hacked recently, but it's okay. We just reached out to Instagram, which is another leg up that an athlete would have because they have the backing of their school and their team. So if a hack did happen, they would probably be able to get their account back. I guess another horror story would be just brands not fulfilling their end of the deal. So athletes going out of their way and shooting content or creating whatever they need to create to fulfill their contract, and then the brand taking too long to pay them or not paying them at all, which has also happened to me too. I had one more horror story.
Well, you know what, you had said the other day that your Instagram got hacked and you had some posts that needed to go up for a client that you couldn't get up.
Yes.
Right? So, so how would you, how are you going to fix that in the future so that in case that does happen, like how do you protect yourself?
Okay, so I do manage myself. So I have a lawyer that I reached out to that I knew from college, and she works in the entertainment law, so I had her draft up a contract for me. So when a brand comes to you, they present you with a contract that outlines all of the necessary obligations that both parties have to abide by, right? But then I present them my contract, and I say that all opinions are going to be my own and that they have to be okay with whatever I'm saying.
So
because
you can be yourself.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, I'm protecting my brand. It is small, but it's still growing, and eventually, if and when I do get to where I want to be, I don't want something that I said 5 years ago to bite me in the butt. So.
Right. Now, some people are arguing that the female student athletes aren't going to be able to benefit as much as the male student athletes because they're not, on TV as much, or their sports. I disagree personally, but Jacob, I want you to explain why you think that the female athletes, could potentially be at more of an advantage to make money off their likeness.
I totally disagree as well. I think females and female athletes are super positive. They are an influence to a lot of young girls, and a lot of the people on social media are young tween girls, and hopefully athletes as well, that look up to them and can hopefully shine a light that it is positive to be a female student athlete in college. So
now, how do you see some of the athletes making money off their likeness? Because, for example, right now some of your clients, like Fashion Nova is a client of yours, right? Or some of these other brands. For example, how could a college swimmer or volleyball player or soccer player, a female athlete, what could they do that's maybe even similar to kind of what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, aside from just getting like those regular brand deals from clothing companies, a big tip that I have to just any influencer, not just like athletes, is getting a group of people from like your team or friends to do a video or shoot some type of content with you. Jaka and I do a lot together because we kind of look alike, and sometimes people like that, and so we make funny videos and they do really well online. So I guess the tip that I would have is just getting your whole team to kind of do something and just be funny and have fun with it, because ultimately that's what content should be. It's just fun.
Now, as high schoolers, so the rule changes and you get to go to college and then make money off your likeness. Well, how does a high schooler really focus on building their brand up until they reach that point where they can monetize it?
Well, they should definitely start using social media now. For example, some of the high school athletes have like 3 pictures up, and that doesn't show anything. Like, you should be posting all your offers that you are getting so that those other schools are interested in you as well, because there are some people that don't even post their offers or nothing. They barely post at all. And I think social media is a great way to advantage yourself, to show your recruiters and get yourself out there.
And then they wonder why they don't have any exposure.
Exactly.
So you can't get exposure without exposure.
Yeah, like how are those brands going to find you or know that you can create that good content when you're not putting anything up?
And so there's something, actually, we've talked about it a lot on our social media. You shouldn't have an Instagram if you have 0 posts. I mean, sure, it's a stalker profile. You want to just look at everyone's stuff. But these girls bring up an amazing point. With this rule change, those 0 post profiles are going to be looking ridiculous.
They're going to stay at 0.
Yeah, and stay at 0 money as well.
Yeah.
So, 2023 SB 206, unless the NCAA drafts some crazy legislation that stops it from passing. Other states are already beginning to pass their bills or draft their bills. So, you might see every single big-time college athlete coming to play in California if the other states don't get with it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think this is a really great opportunity for all these athletes. They should really start now, honestly, because this can be, I mean, if sports don't work out for them, that's all I'm saying, is they can make a lot of money this way.
You know what I mean? So you're looking at a few people right here who are making their careers being influencers, and in the future, if you guys step your game up and get your followers up, you might have a collab. So,
Yeah.
Jacob,
Let us know.
Savannah, thank you guys so much. And where can they find you guys on your social media?
My handle for Instagram is @savpalacio.
And mine is at jacob.noel.
All right, check them out. You can find them on SportsRecruits as well. We'll make sure they get tagged and you can get a hold of them and maybe pick their brain and ask them some questions from some real, actual influencers. Thank you guys. We'll catch up with you guys soon.